Podge's hero here, just secure himself his matchup if he wants to. And they
Yep.
do go with a Tiny. So it looks like Podge Tiny more than likely mid. I mean, they could flex this in a million ways. I can't say for certain.
You just don't know. What if it's a
No.
mid Darkseer, John? What if it's a
Yeah,
mid Dark?
who
Why not?
knows?
You know what? Choose the last pick Sanking. Just last pick Sanking right now. Make it really crazy. Let's go for the mid Sanking. We'll go for a safe lane Darkseer or something. We're on the pause 4 Tiny. Why the hell not?
You know, that could work. That could work. I can kind of see that work in a really ridiculous way. Pause one Darkseer, play around the normal punch or something dumb like that. That could work out if they want to on Neon's end. Lilgun have to get a read here, and normally this is, Lilgun's the one that always does wacky stuff for draft as well.
How do you draft against these guys? How do you do? Like, what do you do? They take a bristleback. Fair enough. I mean, they're just going with their own draft, but you don't know what's going on here with OB.Neon. You don't know what to do about this drafting.
I think the bristleback is a response to a potential time, right? So they flex bristleback mid, maybe the Ember safe, although kind of don't want that. Ember safe just feels awkward, but you can kind of play around your lanes here. More than likely, maybe just an off lane bristle or Lilgun, but it's open enough that you can swing it around. How does Neon close out? That's the how did they actually close this out? Like I don't know. I can't even say.
Choose the mid Sanking, I'm telling you. It's the way to do it. Last game ended in 26 minutes. Screw it. We don't need a carry. Take the mid Sanking. I want it now. I want your Page mid Sanking. That's what I want to see. Obviously, it's probably going to be a mid Tiny. All jokes aside. But something in my heart tells me that CTM's thinking about it.
Madman. Freaking madman CTM. I would love to see it. I remember the days when, Chen first phase pick for Neon was always safe lane.
when they ran that pos 1 Chen, I couldn't sleep at night. I legitimately couldn't sleep at night after that, John. I was thinking about it, like, how is pos 1 Chen a thing? How do they make it work every single time? Why are my pubs going to be ruined again thanks to OB.Neon? It used to be TNC, right? Like TNC used to run the Morph ES, and that's what used to ruin my SCA pubs. Now we ran the POS 1 Chen, and long behold, the next day I had to deal with a POS 1 Chen on my team, which, let me tell you, John, it wasn't CTM playing either, so it wasn't the greatest POS 1 Chen I've ever seen. Still, Lilgun, final ban out here. They got rid of the Viper. They'll get rid of the AM. So they just want to make sure that nothing's going to get in the way of the Ember and the Bristleback, which makes enough sense. We'll see the Kunkka being removed by OB.Neon now. Fair enough. You don't want to tank them up even more with that boat rom if you can avoid it for OB.Neon. Last pick.
Well, looks like if Lilgun goes standard here, offlane Bristle, mid Ember, something on the safe lane needs to come out for X123. Maybe go back to the Wraith King if they want to. It didn't quite work out in game 1. I think you need something more active. Bristle and Ember, they're sort of slow. Ember, not as much, but Bristle definitely needs a lot of farm to get up and kicking. So you want something fast in your safe. Oh, great. Tidehunter instead. Safe lane Bristle, mid Ember, off lane Tide. They've got team fight on hand. Very tanky set of dual cores on Lilgun's end. So bursting them down for OB.Neon is going to be a bit tough. How do they close out here themselves? Like, maybe that Sand King would work out. Just tie in the team fight, get a lot of magic damage going.
I was joking. Don't actually do it. They're way too tanky. You don't have any damage right now on OB.Neon to deal with the Bristle, the Tide.
You know what would be great?
What's that?
I would love a Warlock here. Warlock, Fatal Bonds, and a Veil of Discord. That is a lot of magic damage. Lots of AoE flying out. Alright, they play it smart.
Yeah.
Alright. Nothing silly here. It is a CTM Centaur, though, with Raging Potato and the Darkseer. So there's your POS 4 Centaur and offlane Darkseer. I mean, we were kind of calling that in the offlane anyway, so you just switch the roles around. Not Simeon the Monkey King. Lots of value there. Right? Bristleback, Tide, you build up your stacks. Jingu's always going to go off. You don't care for their tankiness. You can kind of play there. And the lane for Tidehunter is awkward because of Monkey King's range. You can still bully him out with Gush. Base armor of Monkey King's not amazing, but you're not going to get too much value from Anchor Smash just because Monkey King's a melee hero. So it's a good way to close out for Neon. They've got some pretty good power spikes to play with. They've got great vac wall combinations with the Wukong's command, with the Avalanche Toss, and Centaur Stun. And we'll just have to see if CTM can get that space out with his pause for a Centaur, which we really haven't seen ever, if not in a very, very long time.
Prediction though, John. Before I ask you who has the better draft, prediction, does Natsumi find a broom handle to make his melee former a little bit longer? Let's just go with that first.
You have to ask that? Of course you will. It's a given. It's a given. That's how the Ice Frog works in the game.
And
You're going to find everything you want. Yeah, for sure. Get more range. You know? How does it work? How is he melee? How does he melee with that range? He has more range than the TA at level 1.
He does too. Doesn't he have more range than a Morphling as well? I'm pretty sure he does. Anyway, we'll move on to game number 2 between Lilgun and OB.Neon. John, I will ask you the hard question, by the way. Who did come out with the better draft?
For the main event.
Despite the memes, I actually think Neon does have a really strong draft here. Like, the big issue for Lilgun is that it takes a while to build up into Bristle safe. Like, Vanguard, more than likelihood of Defiance on top, building off from there. Although, this is interesting. Look at X123 right now. He's queued up what looks like a Mask of Madness along the lines here. Along with maybe in... I don't know what he's going for, but he's got some interesting stuff being formed out in the Bristle.
Is that a Mask of Madness and an Echo Saber that I'm seeing?
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like it's maybe this is the way you deal with Neon. Just go with left field buildups as well. Right click. Look, right click Bristle is actually scary. Warpath is insane. Stack on a Mask of Madness, he right clicks like a madman. Issue is you can't cast spells. So that's counter synergy for Bristle. Maybe you don't go all the way. Maybe you make a disassembly play. That might be what 123 has in mind. We'll see. He has a lot of time to change his mind as well. As we will look for a bit of a scuffle, both sides kind of posturing around these initial bounty runes.
This could be dangerous. They've got a lot of stun on OB.Neon. You've got to be very careful about this. You could get perma-stunned here, but... Oh, Earthspike is there. CTM a bit off the mark with the hoof stop. He might pay for this. So they do gush him up. Hishki gonna land the Impale, and it looks like CTM is gonna die straight off the bat this time around. They will not allow him to have a 0-death game again for the next 20 minutes, or maybe they will. He's still running, but no, the gush is there. Marvel, he'll take the kill. Definitely a nice start here for the side of Lilgun.
Yeah, but they actually lost every single bounty rune. So that compensates for the lost bounty rune, but I think overall, Neon still gets a lot more gold from that trade. So it's worthwhile for Neon to give away CTM's life like that. They break into their lanes. Natsumi is against that Tide, played by Marvel. He's got John Yuel and the Lion to help him. Hishki's on that Nyx. It's a dual melee lane against Monkey, and that's not a very comfy lane. John Yuel can get his harassment off as well. Hishki's going to have to go for these creep pulls to get that EXP going for this lane.
Absolutely. Of course, over in the mid lane, John, you've got your Page there up against Sanctity. Seems like it is going to be a bit of a tiny favored lane, but for now, Sanctity is having a very good time. And of course, we can't underestimate the Sanctity Ember. We did have the pleasure of watching this throughout the first day of the playoffs, and he was very effective on this Ember Spirit. So we'll see if he can kind of replicate that performance from the earlier days. But you also can't really underestimate the Page Tiny. He's the idol after all, but we'll see who does come out on top in this mid lane.
A bit tougher here for Yopaj, mainly because Sanctity can go all in the Flame Guard build, block off the Avalanche Toss combo. Yopaj is going to have to focus on Tree Grab Harass, clear out the wave, and leads to a slower game without kill opportunities. He can go for Toss plays. Sanctity still has to shield if he wants to protect himself, but once you hit level 3, level 4 on that Ember, it feels a lot more comfy. Whereas Yopaj for the early bottle, and this is where those bounties come into play, he's going to have more regen on hand. The bottle's still going to be flying out for Sanctity shortly, but this is good timing for Yopaj. He can drain the bottle, grab his water rune, still keep controlling that lane and build up.
That's a nice Avalanche Toss as well. He secures the range creep there, but also purges off the Flame Guard. Yeah, a very nice Avalanche Toss to go for. Just go ahead and secure some water rune for himself. Of course, over in the bot lane, the last lane we haven't really discussed yet, you've got X123 on the safe lane Bristleback, along with Ace 12. CTM going to be there on the Centaur, which should be a pos 4. And of course, you've also got Raging Potato, aka Mr. Ping Pong himself, the off lane Darkseer.
Radiant's courier has
Yeah, it's a manageable lane for a Bristle. Right? Like you're still annoyed by Iron Shell, but you can sit further back, play with your Quilt Spray, get harassment off. It's a dual melee lane from OB.Neon, so they also have issues gap closing here and getting their own harassment going. I think for CTM, it's going to be a slower time. He's just going to look to stack up, build up some flash form for his teammates. Maybe once you hit level 3, you can look for something. He's pocketing his skill point, stuck at level 1 Hoof Stomp, and you just have to be cautious about overextending. But you can see those Iron Shells do work. X123, way far away from the Defiance, just melts to that damage.
Absolutely. A lot of damage being dealt. Mid lane, Yopaj. He's going to go back for another hit. He does have tree throw. Oh, they plant the tree. It's not going to be enough, though. That's a high-level play, John, using that Iron Branch to try and pick up a tree and throw it, but unluckily for Yopaj, Sanctity had a bottle charge ready to go, and he will survive. Meanwhile, top lane, Natsumi dropping extremely low, but he will not die. Just barely surviving, and he'll be able to salve up on that Monkey King. A lot of very close calls across the map, but nobody dropping quite yet.
Still a 1-kill lead for Lilgun, but the lanes are shaping up all too nicely for OB.Neon. All the farms going through their cores, basically uncontested for Natsumi. Even if he gets harassed out, his last hits are on top of the board. You are seeing an even trade between the Ember and Tiny as well, and
Raging, he's having a bit of a hide-and-seek game here with Ace-12. BTM's going to join. Raging, he's an expert at hide-and-seek, John. He's not getting caught out. Now the Iron Shell's out. CTM will just chase Ace-12 down. Surge out. Can they really get this kill onto Ace? CTM's going to try. He's going to try and make this work, and it looks like he's going to get the kill too, but no. He went too early with the double edge. How disgusting.
Yeah, that's the laning combo. You've got the levels on Raging. He's being really aggressive with the vacuums as well. And as long as there's mana, there's always potential in Ace.
He's just going to dive the T1, but he ran out of Iron Shell. He did run out of the Iron Shell. I love OB.Neon. I really do. Ace, he's not going to pull the creep wave over to the small camp. Surprisingly going for the harass out instead. Bit of an interesting move there, as he could have just denied the whole wave away, but decides not to. CTM?
Yeah, CTM though.
He's been caught out. Nice rotation there from Hishki. Does at least get the pos 4 Centaur, but they don't quite get the Dark Seed that they really wanted.
And that leaves Marvel alone up top, and he's forcing a long chase, but he's not very healthy here.
No, he's not. Marvel. See a boundless strike out from Natsumi. He seems to know he's probably already dead. He's trying to get the Centaur to hit him. It's just not working out in his favor. Janyor just keeps tanking the neutral. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, however, Hishki and Sanctity set up onto Yopaj. And that's a very valuable kill to get for Lilgun.
Yeah, they needed to slow down that Tiny's blink timing. They find a big kill. They spot out these stacks. Hishki's got a really nice forward ward. He can't really stop it, but he's soaking some EXP away. So not as much being injected onto CTM, but that's a lot of gold for Raging Potato. Has to be cautious, though.
Does. Raging. Oh, he's going to try and run. He won't make it out. Nice little snipe there from Ace-12. Meanwhile, X123 dies to Yopaj. Apparently just rotates down to the bot lane by himself in the Tiny. Sets up a kill onto the safe lane of Lilgun.
It's an important kill, slowing down the Bristle as well. And all of this movement means that Natsumi's left alone. Overall, you're really happy if you're OB.Neon. The mid is being sort of shoved in. You need to find a way to slow down this push. Your Monkey King's free farming. That's a scary prospect for Lilgun.
Yeah, absolutely. X1, I'm having a look back at X123. I really want to see what this build-up's going to look like.
Oh,
he has the mask.
Yeah, he's still going for it. At the least, he's got the mask going into power treads into Ags. So we'll see how fast the Ags is. At the least, the Ags will do a lot of work. Minor to Arm is going to be great. They are sort of making a rotation happen on him, though, but he does read it.
Has he though? They could just dive the tier 1 tower, and there's your surge out with the Earth Spike
boy.
and the follow-up. Hex and Stun is all out with the Iron Shells and the Vac back, but they don't have the damage. He's a bit too tanky. Januel, he might die to the Quill Sprays. It's a lot of damage being pumped out, but he gets the Earth Spike. X123 though, he can keep fighting CTM now. He's got too many stacks, but here comes Mr. Raging Potato himself. It's still not enough damage though. They can't get rid of the Bristle yet.
No, it's way too much. Once you get 4 stacks up, you start to melt. Level 3's quills are that much more painful. Although, Yapaj does have a haste. He could clean up here.
He's already TP'd out.
TP out.
Didn't have a look around the tree line, but is going to realize the TP has happened. Said though, they might be able to get Hishki. Earth Spike is there. Januel still has the Hex up, and well, Hishki, he has the Spike Carapace, but it is only at level 1. It's a very nice impale there, but the toss in onto the Nyx Assassin, Yapaj. He'll get the kill. They do at least get something for their trouble.
It's a lot of time they commit down there to find the kill, but they find it anyway. They're forcing the Bristle to really just work the jungle now, compared to Natsumi. He's working a few camps and they're jumping Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel. Danger. As Jingu Mastery proc out, Avalanche toss. Yapaj waits for the perfect moment, and it's going to be another kill. And I thought the one problem Neon might have throughout this draft is they wouldn't have the damage to burst down these tanky cores. But so far, that's not really the case. Yapaj is really not struggling whatsoever. In fact, Hishki, Spike Carapace is going to be there to avoid the full combo. Let's have the mana drain as well to make sure Yapaj cannot toss him away. But it won't really matter because he doesn't have the backup to keep the chase up on Yapaj. Everything just kind of resets and goes back to normal.
He does spot out these stacks. The Neon's aware of where X123 wants to farm. They've got the ward on the triangle as well on the south side. Probably not going to be able to make a move. Yapaj can't just burst him solo, and they get a good scan to spot out where Yapaj is camping for that rune. So they're prepared to protect. And this is going to be a good gold injection for X23. Help him hit those farming spikes he needs to meet, but looks like they might be ready, although...
Oh, Sanctity actually ended up killing off Raging Potato solo. Very nice, as now Yapaj, he's gone way too deep, and they'll commit the Ravage for him. Nice pick up there from Lilgun. No messing around here from Marvel. I think it is well worth it when you have the mid-tiny out of position like that. And that goes all the way back to that scam that was made on the power rune. They seem to have just kind of read the movement of Yapaj, and eventually they get the punishment.
That's an important kill, but I don't think Yapaj minds, because he's buying space for Natsumi. Throwing his life forward, still finding kills. They need to solve this mid-tier 1 push, though, and CTM without Stampede, it's hard to gap close.
Well, there's your Primal Spring in. CTM looking for a hoof stomp, won't get it. Oh, he tried to time it really nicely there, but it does not work out still. The Avalanche toss back into the hoof stomp and the finger out. A nice Ice Blast. It may be enough for CTM, or maybe not. It looks like he's going to be alright, as now they'll go for even more. Hishki, he will be able to Vendetta, but they have a Sentry Ward and a toss back into that ward. And by the way, CTM does end up dying to that Ice Blast.
Yeah, on the edge, still worthwhile. Yapaj, surge forward.
Ace 12. Double fluffy hats, John.
Yapaj?
That'll do it. Marvel not going to make it in time to try and punish.
Yeah, and you can see Neon's just trying to get real aggressive here. Surprised Natsumi showed up, but that was the right time. He's still saving up for his Battle Fury, and that's the point where the Monkey King can really outfarm everyone. Like, Bristleback's not going to keep up pace, the Ember's not going to be able to keep up pace, unless they really work their lanes out quite nicely. And this is where it gets a bit awkward for X123, right? Like, he's going for this weird pseudo right foot build, and raging.
Let's get caught out again. And Sanctity doing a pretty good job apparently of just kind of roaming and finding the Starkseer out. Into the tier 1 mid tower they go. Lilgun. They don't have the Ravage to play with, but it looks like they're quite confident that Neon is probably not going to try and defend this. And that is indeed the case. Neon have backed off. Secure the mid. So they want to start rotating around to start really applying that pressure with their drafts. They aren't going to find anyone in the triangle though, but they'll get some stacks for themselves.
And that's going to be some nice farm for Sanctity, help him build towards his Maelstrom. Been lagging a bit behind in that Ember, but he is starting to catch up quite nicely. They should look to make a play. They need more tilts on Yapaj to get that blink up and running.
Yeah, speaking of, X123, gonna avoid the smoke for now. Yapaj still no blink up. Can't really close the gap there up against X123 and have to just kind of get back to farming, trying to get that blink ASAP. Speaking of, I mean, Natsumi also trying to go for the Battle Fury build up on the Monkey King, so they are certainly looking to go a bit later on in this game. Tishki gonna scout out quite a bit of information here for Lilgun. Ice Blast out onto Januel, but they've caught the Ember. Do they have the perma-stun for him? They've just made as the Hex comes out in time right before Januel dies, but no, it's not gonna be enough. Nice setup there for Lilgun. It's now Marvel. He has the Ravage. He can commit at any time, and he will. They want CTM dead, and they'll get him.
Thanks for playing Dota 2.
The kill for the side of Lilgun. Yapaj going to show himself onto Sanctity, but can't quite go for the kill. Now Natsumi, he's overextended. He's going to try and run, but there's no help around to really help him out. They drop the wall, the toss out from Yapaj. Natsumi, no, he's still going to go down. The Remnant was there from Sanctity. Now you've got Raging Potato, who's going to try and run for his life. And he is going to make it out, but things are still looking quite bad for Neon as now they go back in with the finger and the avalanche toss. Sanctity is dying to the Iron Shell. It's not enough yet though, as Sanctity is still out of there. Yapaj having a look, trying to snipe him. He can't find him though. Meanwhile, Januel does die to Ace 12, and Yapaj, he's still having a look for this Ember. We'll find out the hard way, he was right behind him. By Carapace, gonna stun up Yapaj, but they'll get the Impale off, and now Sanctity wants to play with the Tiny. Knowing there's no spells left, and there's no mana left either, Sanctity should be able to have his way with the Tiny. Yapaj, he tries to grab a tree, it will not work out.
That's a huge set of kills for Lilgun. OB.Neon overextending from Natsumi all the way down, forcing that fight when they kind of missed their opportunity but they couldn't burst the Ember. And now opens up a bit of an ancient stack steal from X123, accelerating his farm towards the Axe. He's already got the Echo Saber up. And this actually works really nicely. The additional slow you get with the Echo Strike on the Saber, piled on the Nasal Goose Slow, do have a lot of good right-click damage with Warpath stacks built up. This can burst down heroes quite fast. So I can see where X123 is coming from. And with his Axe timing set to come out soon, that's going to be really big. Their jungle's not safe here as well for Neon. Hishki's just constantly keeping pace, but Natsumi got a good read in that. At least dodges out the Ice Blast.
He does. Hishki unable to get a Spike Carapace or an Impale off in time. You do have the Battle Fury now. You get on Natsumi, and you've also got that Blink on the way for your punch, so they might be able to finally get a bit more active here on Neon. But the timing is a bit late for the Tiny. Not the timing he would have wanted as Lilgun. They're taking the time to just keep the farm up. Goes back to what you said, X123, he's so close to the Aghanim Scepter. And it's definitely going to be a very well-timed Aghanim Scepter here for the Bristle. And once you've got that up, you can just start running them down. OB.Neon, they're not in a position to fight yet. They may try, but with the Axe on the Bristle, it is very hard to fight into. Although Yapaj, nice toss back, but the Avalanche was not there soon enough. And well, he did not connect the Earth Spike either.
Yeah, it's a bit tough, especially without a blink yet in Januel. You can't quite instant a Hex from the toss if you're too far out. So you have to maybe wait for, again, more gold to flow in for OB.Neon. The lead is widening here for Lilgun though. 5k up, those spikes we talked about slowly building in. And for Neon's end, well, they just got the Battle Fury Natsumi, need more farm there. Side of Lilgun, can just look the pressure. They need to take some more towers out, play with his Ag Spike on X123. They're looking at the Roshan, it is scanned out, but I don't think they mind too much.
They've caught the line. Let's pick up again from Lilgun, and that'll definitely mean they can start the Roshan, understanding that the side of OB.Neon probably will not be able to contest. That is exactly the case. They aren't even trying to make their way over. They know they aren't strong enough right now. Lilgun taking the Aegis onto X123. The game just become that much more difficult now for OB.Neon.
It's wanting to kill the Bristleback once, twice over with the Ags up is nearly next to impossible. I love what X123 is going for as well. Immediately this assembly play on that Echo Saber, going for the BKB into Satanic next. So you've got really good, effective itemization coming through from him, and it's down to him to be at the front line along with the Tide to get the space out, start these fights for his team. The burst damage is still not quite there for OB.Neon. Natsumi needs a lot more to come out here. That fear alone is not enough. SNY is coming next, but they might lose a lot of towers while waiting. Top being shoved in. No sign of a defense yet from OB.Neon. They're lined up bot instead. They might just eye a tier 2 for tier 2 trade here.
That tier 2 top tower really not going to last very long. Feels nice with the Aghanim Scepter on the Bristle, the fact that you don't even need a target for Nasal Coup. You just keep stacking up those War Cry stacks up on the Bristle. Here you go. Echo Saber now up on X123. It's going to hurt quite a lot for OB.Neon, who are trying to push down that bot tier 2 tower. They do go for an avalanche toss out onto the Nyx, but there's a Ravage in from Marvel. He's caught the backside. They've got one, and they've probably got a second Natsumi. He will not survive the onslaught. Another great setup here for Lilgun, and so far for OB.Neon, this draft is just not working out. A Sanctity, he'll even find CTM. It's now 18-6 with a 6k net worth lead for Lilgun. Looks like they are pretty determined to make sure there's a game 3 in this series.
They're playing really well. They're hitting their early spikes, preventing OB.Neon from finding any sort of trade. Natsumi has to put his body out forward to make these pushes happen. They don't even find the tower. It's not fast enough. And now, I don't know how you handle X123. He's too tanky. He's got the Ags. He's pumping out the Warpath stacks. Yapaj just can't burst him down.
Well, Avalanche tosses in. Yapaj is going to try, but look at X123. Look how tanky this man is. He basically took no damage. He still has the Aegis, but they will stun lock him down. CTM's in with the stun now. Maybe they can get through one life, and they will. In the Wukong's command, they might be able to find the second as the toss is back up with the Avalanche, but the Glimmer Cape going to save the day. CTM's down, a nice Earth Spike is out, but there's no follow-up there for the Bristle. So X123, he can get back to work, onto Raging. Genuel's gone to the Lion, and now, well, you've got Raging that's just going to die. Riapash came back in to try and help out, but 1-2-3 is going to turn right back around. Take him down. As things continue to look worse and worse for OB.Neon in this game too. A 9k net worth advantage now. And it's onto the tier 2 bottom tower.
It's not going to take too long for this push to really get up and going. That's going to leave Neon with just one outer tower left to defend. It's going to limit the area where Natsumi can play for his catch-up farm. Still needs the BKB up. It's so far away, and I know how they can open up the map for Natsumi. Just so far behind this monkey.
Oh, there's a finger out there. At least get ace 12, and now Stampede's popped. They want to try and rush for another fight. So it's going to be after Marvel. Nice stun out from CTM to lock him down. Marvel, he's got the help of Sanctity around if he really wants to commit here. Ravage is up in 3 seconds. They might be able to turn, but they need some backup. In fact, now Sanctity's in trouble. Marvel comes in with a 4-man Ravage, but where's the backup? It's not there yet. Sanctity's still trying to chip away, but now the Avalanche toss. It's going to be enough to kill off Marvel. Genuel, meanwhile, he did die, but we'll buy it back. Now they're going after Raging. This could be a mistake, though. They've overextended into the Wukong's command. X123, he's been left alone. Oh boy, Sanctity. That is a nice hoof stomp from CTM. He's going to try and remnant out. You've got your Page around with the blink up. He just needs the Avalanche in 1 second, but the Glimmer Cape may have saved the day. He will keep up the chase, however. The Cold Feet will cancel the blink. He still sees the Ember. He's got the target he wants. He'll take him down. Oh, and that could have been a pretty big throw for Lilgun if they're not too careful. The Wukong's command really turning it as now CTM finds Ace 12 with the blink hoof stop. Ice Blast might be enough with Marvel around, and it will be. They at least get the Pos 4 Centaur down.
You're dead.
That's about all they'll get though. He can't really stop the TPs of anyone else. Maybe they could keep the chase up on Yapage as now Hishki's shown up, but just blinks right out of there on the Tiny, and yes, they could still go. Hishki, he's gonna try. Impel does land. Marvel is around with the Gush. Maybe they do have enough. He has help coming in though. And there's your surge out. Yule's gonna cancel that surge off, but it won't matter. They don't have any more spells to throw.
Yeah, it's a great set of kills from OB.Neon, dragging that lead down to just about 6k. It was about 10k all those fights broke out. So they're recovering. Not quite in the clear, but they are starting to build up. The BKB's almost done a Natsumi, and if you can get the Wukongs off in a really good spot with the Vac wall on top, when you saw how hard it was, Lilgun to walk across there. They kept going through the wall, getting some damage, getting more illusions up, lagging everyone's PCs, and that could be the way for Neon to go forward. They just need to get that big combination off. They hit the point where CTM with the blink can start these fights for the team instead of maybe just throwing your Podge up and running the risk of losing your Tiny early. So they've got a ton of options there for OB.Neon now. For Lilgun, they've got the BKB up on X123. It feels a lot nicer for him to take these fights up front. You have no control. You have nothing to stop the Bristle right now. So they should look to make use of this power spike. Maybe wait out the next Roshan if they want to, but keep control in that jungle, keep the ward game up, and get a couple more deep wards here. They've got only one cliff ward in the middle of that jungle, maybe get some on the entrances, or just drop some wards in that triangle area in order to contest farm properly, because Neon's still getting a steady influx of gold. Natsumi has not lagged behind at all, and that is a worry, because the main win condition here for Neon.
Still a 5k net worth lead here for Lilgun. Rise of Neon, I mean, they're still doing alright considering the circumstances. Bot tier 2. Yeah, under siege, X123. They've caught Outraging. They'll get him. Nice pick off to get started as now Sanctity with the Aghanim Scepter wants to rush forward with the Remnants. Januel, he TP's out. I don't think Marvel would have really wanted to commit the Ravage anyway for the Lion. They get one. Get Raging on the Darks here, but that's about all they're going to get.
Yeah, it's a nice kill, not the big one they were looking for. You'd be much happier with Natsumi kept down.
No, never mind. They have caught out Yapage. He'll toss one away. Stampede can be popped, but it won't matter. They've got the control. In fact, now Hishki, he sets up onto CTM. They've got a third kill to go their way. In fact, oh no, Natsumi, he's joined in. He wants to help out. Wukong's command is there. BKB pop, but he is not really that tanky. The damage is pretty darn high. Januel, he'll be the first one to drop. And now Natsumi, he will be the fourth. In fact, make it a fifth now. The Ravage committed. They will find Raging again. An ultra kill out for X123. And it's a full team wipe.
Yeah, they're cleaning up house now, Lilgun, hitting their spikes. The BKB on X123 allows them to just stand forward without a care in the world. And the same issues are playing OB.Neon. They're not finding the fights they want. They kind of go in staggered. They need to fight as a team. They need these combinations to play out. We must see Wukongs with wall back. You can't play without. Like, the damage output's not enough. You'll get bursted down even with the BKB on Natsumi. They do have really good high ground here. They know Ravage is down. Wukong will be up as soon as Natsumi's up. So they can play the hold game here. It's not the end of the world. It's only 11k lead for Lilgun, 31 to 12. They are way ahead now in terms of momentum. And they might be able to find themselves one nice set of racks, or at least a tier 3 before the respawns come in.
Perhaps. It'll be just the tier 3 tower. You're still kind of relying on Natsumi, on that Monkey King, to really be able to carry them through the late game. And Natsumi right now, he's not really that farmed up. Second in net worth, but it's just not transitioning into the damage they need. OB.Neon, with this kind of draft, it needs to be kind of like perfect execution. You want to see those big vacuums into the hoof stomps. Of course, after that, the Wukong's command. To get started, they'll take back the outpost. Lilgun, they're just going to keep up the good work. Roshan's up now as well, so a very nice target for Lilgun to go after. Yapaj, let's jump in. There's a wall being dropped as well, but I don't know about this one. Marvel, he's going to run out of the Wukong's. X123 will keep chasing forward. They've got Yapaj in the tiny already, and now CTM's gone. Sanctity, he might die to Natsumi, but X123, he's going to be the big problem. Even without the Ravage, he just has so much damage to pump out. Natsumi has to BKB TP away, and now Chenuel, maybe he gets a TP out in time. He does. But they're going to lose the Roshan to the side of Lilgun again. And I don't really see much that OB.Neon can do about it.
They have no way of stopping it. No Wukong for this fight. No way of gap closing. This is going to be a nice Aegis Cheese and Ag Shard coming the way of Lilgun. Wondering who they give what to. Perhaps the Shard going to Marvel would be nice. And it does look like they hand that over to him. So added Anchor Smash damage. Lower cooldown affects buildings. The push got a lot easier here for Lilgun. And OB.Neon, they're down 16k now. 34-13. Their team fights aren't lining up well. You saw what happens when you man fight this Bristle. Like with the Satanic up on X123, he lifesteals so much, gets max warpath stacks, just has insane right clicks. The Monkey King can't handle it. They have to find a different approach to deal with a Bristle. Heck, I'd say just ignore him. Kill everyone else first if possible and just leave X123 alone for now. You have no answers for this hero.
Yeah, by the way, they call that thought because bot lane, who they found there? It's going to be Hishki. Remnants forward. Sanctity wants to get Genuel on that line, but now CTM, no, hoof stomp off the mark, but the Remnants back. Remnants back to left. Ravage is out. Genuel will drop, but the BKB was there from Natsumi, and he's just going to TP away. So look at the line in the end. Ravage kind of wasted. It won't matter too much. What I was trying to say as well, by the way, John, is Marvel did not take the shots. He actually gave it back to the Bristle. So X123's got the hairball up there.
And that's fair. Like, X123 is so big, you can just build up on him. Hairball is super strong, 700 radius. 2 goo and 2 quilts. Like, 2 quilts boost your damage by a good, what is that, 68 damage on next spray. So it's a lot to initially set you up. And the slow, of course, from the goo is just insane. With the Ags, you're applying 2 stacks of goo immediately. It's a scary prospect, hard to run for OB.Neon. They're going to have to wait for the Wukong to be back up for Natsumi to show up. And that's going to expose this set of racks. Like, the right click of X123, it's too much.
It is way too high. He's not even level 25 yet either. It only gets worse if he goes for the right talent.
I mean, look at that. He gets plus 400 damage at 8 warpath stats.
Nice toss back, but can you kill him? Not before he BKBs up. Yapaj needs to run ASAP. And look at this. Oh, Januel, the humanity. He just burst both of them down. The toss is meant to work in their favor. Now into the fountain. Maybe the fountain can help out. But no, the fountain's asleep. They'll wake it up. Ice Blast in. A great Ice Blast. They are still melting at home. They've lost 4 heroes. And the Aegis, it does wear off now. But he gets a rampage. He gets a double rampage.
This reminds me of the Steam Summer.
How do you beat this guy?
Oh god. Well, if the fountain can't do it, you definitely can't. Neon, they've got no heroes. They're gonna lose their racks here for sure. He just does way too much, and this bristleback build, the Satanic. Yeah, no way. They called. They called. Neon, they're gonna have to reset. They got a bit cheesed by the bristle, but honestly, this is one of those moments where look at Sanctity. It's one of those moments where Neon, they come out with weird drafts when they don't need to. Cost for Centaur doesn't quite work out. On paper, it sounds great because Surge running around Iron Shell. You were trying to run down a Bristle. So he just kind of punished all your strength heroes there. Lilgun, spectacular closeout. And OB.Neon, well, they're going to have to find another way to handle it. But Lilgun are hanging in, Mike. After that Game 1 blitz through, this time around, they washed Neon over. and they forced the game 3. We'll see if they can, maintain that momentum and maybe knock Neon out. And remember, this is eliminations. One of these teams will have to step out of the tournament at the end of it.
That they will, and of course we are going to be back with Game 3 in roughly 10 to 15 minutes. It's MLPDotA on johnxfire, and we'll head off to that short break and hopefully be right back with Game number 3's draft. We'll see you then.